The New York Jets are making some moves. They add a safety and a tight end. Welcome to New York, Lewis Cine and Brenden Bates.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets!
I always like when we make moves that I feel like I could sign off on as well. The New York Jets and Joe Douglas are bringing in Lewis Cine from the Minnesota Vikings. They've also brought in Brenden Bates, tight end from the Chicago Bears. So I want to take a look at this. Let's break down each guy, why they were cut, what their history is. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the two players down below in the description? So without further ado, let's hop into our first guy. We're going to talk about Brenden Bates a little bit. Tight end from the Chicago Bears. The New York Jets were active. This is from SI, Sports Illustrated. The New York Jets were active on the NFL waiver wire this morning, claiming tight end from the Chicago Bears. Undrafted rookie tight end Brenden Bates joins the 53-man roster, which will result in a corresponding cut to make room for him. The Jets only had two tight ends on the roster, Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert. I'm curious to see which player ultimately ends up getting released or moved down to the practice squad because of this move. My gut feeling is that you might see someone like a Surratt, maybe someone like Brownlee get bumped down, but we'll have to wait and see what that corresponding move is. As of 2:30, this information is not out there yet. Bates is as experienced as any rookie, as he spent six seasons competing in the SEC Conference as a member of the Kentucky Wildcats. 6'5", Bates made at least one reception in all four of the Bears' preseason games. They played in the Hall of Fame game plus their 3 individual games. He finished the preseason with 6 receptions on 7 targets for 100 yards. Undoubtedly attractive to the Jets, Bates also contributed on special teams this summer. He made 4 tackles covering kicks. So that's huge, right? We just moved Yeboah over to the IR, which means he's out for at least 4 weeks. So I'm curious to see, does Bates wind up sticking beyond that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. In terms of Jets players who were waived, Carolina Panthers, blah, 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 blah. Undrafted out of Georgia. Nope. Nothing else on there. Okay, so as far as Brenden Bates goes and his collegiate performance, you guys saw his NFL performance. This is what his grades were on Pro Football Focus for his time at Kentucky. A little bit of a mixed bag, right? Like not a crazy amount of, I guess, green on the grading chart. It's not a perfect system. We'll look at some of his plays and whatnot in a later video. But overall, I mean, just a very experienced collegiate tight end. So it tells me at the very least the Jets were keeping an eye on him, probably through the draft process as well. So we'll see what we wind up getting from him. Like I said, he did wind up making the 53-man roster. So from a special teams perspective, maybe that means it's Irv Charles that ends up going because he's kind of the special teams guy right now. But we'll have to wait and see what those corresponding moves are. The other side of our signings, this one has me very, very excited, and it's not even to the active roster. This one's going to wind up being to the practice squad, and that is safety Lewis Cine. He was I think he was the number 2 overall safety coming out of the 2022 class out of Georgia. Now, he was the last pick in the first round, pick number 32. Cine was waived. This is from a Minnesota Vikings page. The Vikings reportedly tried to trade Cine on Tuesday, but to no avail. They decided to move on from the 2022 first-round pick out of Georgia. He still has $4 million left on his contract, which would be dead money for the Vikings unless another team claims him on waivers. We did not claim him on waivers. We signed him, so we didn't inherit that contract. Whether he's claimed or not, blah, 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 it just didn't work out for him in Minnesota. Cine's NFL career got off to a rough start when he suffered a major leg injury as a rookie. There was a compound fracture to his leg, and he simply struggled to emerge in a deep safety room after that. Even a big second preseason game against the Browns this month wasn't enough to secure a spot on the Vikings roster or a result in a trade. It wouldn't be surprising at all to see the 24-year-old latch on somewhere else to carve out a role for himself. The nice thing about that for the New York Jets, we are in such a win-now window, and we have such like a loaded team that we're going to wind up getting opportunities to sign players that want to try and reinvigorate their career. Now, obviously, the Jets are in a prime time viewing spot for a lot of our games this season. I think we have 7 or 8 standalone games, if I'm not mistaken, including the London one in the morning. So this is a great way for Cine to potentially bump up to the opening day roster or make a name for himself over here. I really like this. I really like Cine coming out of college. As far as his collegiate stats, because we don't really have much to go off of in terms of his NFL performance. This is what PFF had on his position grading and rankings and stuff like that heading out of college. Any true freshman who receives playing time for a program like Georgia is likely set for future success. And Cine is no exception. He showed promise in his 201 snaps in 2019 before becoming a stalwart for the Bulldogs the past 2 seasons. His calling card has been his tackling ability, where he's missed only 6.9% of his career attempts. Cine attacks with violence as he flies around the field. He's been primarily a deep player in Georgia's defense, but they run enough pro-translatable coverages to feel good about him in a versatile role in the NFL. So it sounds like he might be able to be like an athletic deep safety slash, box safety for us as well. Second ranked safety in that class, big board number 26th. Shades of Adrian Amos. Adrian Amos is the comp. He was a Jet just last year. So I guess you could see why Joe Douglas might like him. He's 6'2", 202 pounds. Highest graded games were against Missouri, Arkansas State, and South Carolina. Lowest ranked games, LSU, Alabama, and Charleston Southern. So obviously, if you could have seen better games against LSU and Alabama, you'd probably prefer that, but it is what it is. As far as touchdowns, it looks like he only gave up 2 touchdowns in his collegiate career, wound up having 2 interceptions, had a ton of snaps over the course of his career. 201 as a freshman, 551 as a sophomore, 822 in his junior year. And he peaked at an 82.4 Pro Football Focus grade. The pros that they list for him, so darn good at reading route stems and anticipating breaks, well put together safety and an outstanding tackler, has some gorgeous speed, turns from deep safety, quick to relocate receivers en route. The cons are adequate speed, and there's nothing special about his range or closing speed. Gets caught flat-footed and tall in space, limiting his ability to break on passes. Limited pure man coverage skills, much better when he has a cushion. So a zone defense maybe that the Jets run might not be the worst fit for Lewis Cine. So I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to lie for these 2 additions. Now, I think Cine is the more intriguing one, while I think Bates is probably more of a placeholder until Yeboah winds up getting back. But I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.
J-E-T-S!